Everyone, let us start our today's session number 4. In this session, we will discuss in detail about MM organizational structure from EWM point of view. Being EWM consultant, whatever we should have basic understanding of MM organizational structure and its organizational units. So that's what we are going to discuss in today's session. So as we can see that it is continuity of our enterprise structure. So this enterprise structure we are creating in SAP, and yesterday we create in the client we defined company and company code. Now today we are discussing about MM organizational structure. In that one we will discuss about plant, storage location, purchasing organization, and purchasing group. So from here, so as discussed yesterday, when we combine organizational structures of different modules, then it becomes enterprise structure. So today, in order to make complete enterprise structure, we just have company and company code. Now today we are discussing about MM organizational structure. Here you can see plant, storage location, purchasing organization, and purchasing group. So let's discuss let's try to understand first what is MM organizational structure and then its organizational unit. So can you see here, this is the MM organizational structure. So where we know client, right? And what is the client which we are using for our training purpose, Atif? Atif, can you hear me? I believe my voice is clear, right? All right. So here, so this is the MM organizational structure which we have. We have client, company code. These two we already have. Now, if we look at MM organizational structure, it starts from plant, then storage location. And in order to look after its procurement requirements, we have purchasing organization and purchasing group. Okay, so plant is the highest organizational unit we have in MM organizational structure. So you can compare this one as well, right? So this is how they are connected with each other. And if we go and look at this one, yeah, right? So we have a client 800, which we are using. In the client 800, we may have a number of company codes. And yesterday we define our own company code. What is that company code? We use the TML, Tata Motors Limited. So here they have used the numbers to represent company code, but in our case we use TML. So here it is 1000 company code, then 2000, 3000. It's a 4 character. So as you can see in this client, 3 company codes are maintained. And in each company code, we have a number of plants, right? So these plants from manufacturing point of view, let's say this is, we are representing Tata Motors with a company code 1000. And in this 1000, all manufacturing facilities of Tata Motors. So if you look at how the manufacturing facility looks like, so the manufacturing facilities looks like this one, right? Manufacturing facilities look like this one. So if you look at manufacturing facilities of Tata Motors across India, so they have manufacturing facility in Jamshedpur, Patnagar, Lucknow, Dharwad, Pune, Sanand, right? In these places, they have the manufacturing facilities, and these manufacturing facilities looks like this one, right? So these manufacturing facilities are represented as plant in SAP. So as you can see here, let's say this is a Jamshedpur plant, then one Pune plant, then Dharwad, Sanand, and some other places. And within this plant, there are places within the plant where raw materials, components, and finished products are stored. So such places within the plant in SAP are called as storage location. Okay, and in order to buy, because when we are making bus, truck, or cars, of course, components and raw materials are required. So for components or raw materials, we have the purchasing organization. So let's deep dive and discuss in detail about what is plant and all. So let's go to this one. Okay, so from organizational structure point of view, in SAP ERP, as I said, when we now, after launching SAP S4 HANA, when we say ERP, so it may be ECC or S4 HANA, because both are ERP systems. So in the SAP ERP, several structures can be used to represent legal and organizational structure of the company. Okay, so organizational elements can be structured from point of view of accounting, HR, materials management, and all. Okay, so following organizational units. So in order to so this is the MM organizational structure we have, and these are called as organizational units like plant, storage location, purchasing organization, purchasing group, even company code. So they are called as organizational units or elements or building block. So from MM point of view, because company code is an organizational unit of FICO module, right? But as you can see, plant is linked with is assigned to company code, and purchasing organization is also assigned to company code. So from MM point of view, plant is the highest organizational unit we have. Okay, so from MM point of view, we can say that plant is the highest organizational unit, and there are total 4 organizational units in MM, that is plant, storage location, purchasing organization, and purchasing group. So MM, that is materials management module, uses some other organizational units, like here we are using company code. So materials management module uses some other organizational units which are maintained by other modules, like in SAP, such as company code. It is an FI organizational. Okay, so now let's discuss in detail about this plant. What is plant, which is the highest organizational unit in MM? So in SAP, plant is an independent, physical, and highest organizational unit in MM module, right? So we can say that the plant is an operating area or branch within a company. Okay, so look at this one. So from within the plant, activities like purchasing, sales, production, and storage are carried out. So purchasing done by production department, sales done by sales department, production done by production department, and storage meaning that is warehouse, right? Warehouse management. So so these activities are carried out at plant level. So if you look at the definition of plant from different module point of view, right? So plant in the SAP system is a broad term which has a varying definition when different logistics modules come into discussion. When we say logistics module, within the logistics, these are the modules, right? So let me show you. So let me log in a remote desktop. So here, let me log into the remote desktop. All right, so let's log in 2020 here. So in this one, we have, let's log in. Yeah, so when we say logistics module, all these modules are logistics modules, which includes materials management, sales and distribution, EWM, TM, and all. So they are called as logistics module. I believe you people are getting my point. Mr. Atif and Sridhar.
Oh, yes, sir.
All right. So during the training, whenever
Yes,
we
sir.
come across terms like logistics module, it means all of these. Okay, all of these. Right. So here, so we were discussing about the definition of plant, right? So plant in the SAP system is a broad term which has a very um, definition when different logistics modules come into discussion, right? So like now we are considering 4 logistics module. One is MM, and second one is SD, and third one is PP, fourth one is EWM, right? So from MM point of view, plant is a logistics part of SAP for procurement and inventory management. What does it mean is, plant is an entity for which procurement is carried out, okay, where purchase order is processed and inventory is managed. So so a plant is referred to as a facility where material stock is kept, stored and maintained, and inventory is maintained. That is, this is the definition of plant from MM module point of view. From SD point of view, plant is a logistics part of SAP for order management, meaning plant is an entity or a place from where the sales is carried out. Okay, so for example, sales order is processed, for example, distribution center or retail outlet is the example of plant. Right, a plant represents the location from which materials are distributed and services are provided. For example, sales office or corporate headquarters. From PP point of view, production planning module point of view, plant is a logistics part of SAP for production management, where production process takes place. Example like factory or production facility or manufacturing facility, they are plant from PP point of view. A plant is referred to as a production or manufacturing facility where the production of goods is done. So manufacturing facility. So from WM or EWM point of view, plant is logistics part of SAP for inventory storage. Plant is a place where material is stored, and within that one we have the warehouse. So like a warehouse, distribution center or fulfillment center, right? Like we have seen videos of fulfillment centers of Amazon. So from Amazon, we can consider it as a retail company. From retail point of view, the fulfillment center is considered as plant. And from manufacturing point of view, manufacturing facility is considered as plant. So from industry to industry, we have to make. So as you can see how the this is here I have represented the plant from manufacturing point of view, where we have the manufacturing facility. So in one company code, we may have a number of plants. Like for example, like from Tata Motors point of view, Tata Motor has 5 or 6 manufacturing plants. So here in this image, same I have tried to express. As you can see in this company code, I mentioned 2 plants, and in this another company code, I mentioned only 1 plant. So in one company, we may have a number of, for example, Amazon. I think Amazon has 5 or 6 big distribution centers across India. One is at Hyderabad, second one Bangalore, Pune, Mumbai, and all places. So those are called as individually plants. Similarly, Tata Motors, Tata Motor has manufacturing facilities in these places. So here, and what are the activities which are carried out at plant level, like materials requirement planning, PP master data management, forecasting, inventory management of materials, all these are carried out at plant level. Right now, what we are going to do is, now here I have just shown this particular layout shows a typical production plant. A typical production plant, as you can see here. Let's say this is one of the manufacturing Tata Motors manufacturing facility. Let's say it is at Pune, right? So as you can see here, this is whole complete manufacturing facility, and in this manufacturing facility you see here trucks, right? So trucks comes in and they are um, trucks comes in, they are parked, unloaded, and then whatever raw materials, components, for example, what are the components or raw materials are required to make cars, trucks, and buses? Anyone?
Sir, iron, steel,
Right.
nut bolts to make the nut bolts and
Yes.
parts,
Engine
different parts.
engine
Yes,
chassis, right? Steering wheel, tires, all are required,
yes,
right?
yes, yes.
So you see, we are receiving from different suppliers. These components are raw materials, right? And then those raw materials and components are being stored somewhere. As you can see here, this is the place where semi-finished product like engine, steering wheel, and all they are stored here. Okay, and from here it is supplied to the production line. They assemble it. After assembly, they make car or truck. Then that car and truck they store here. This is just example, okay, right? So so this is consider this one as a complete manufacturing facility. All right. So now this manufacturing facility, so here we have two types of plants. One is physical plant, another one is logical plant. Physical plant meaning which is actually physically present, and that physical location we are representing as plant in SAP, right? So the physical location where actual business operations are carried out. As you can see here, actual business operation is being carried out where we are receiving components and raw materials from suppliers, and those are being assembled, and finished product like a car, truck is um, produced and then being stored. So the actual operation is being carried out here. So physical plant is nothing but a physical location where actual business operations are carried out. For example, production plant, utility plant. And we can also have a logical plant, physical location of companies offices to track expenses, performance, and profit. So like head office, regional offices, they are called considered as logical plant. We have physical plant and logical plant. And we as EWM consultant, we are dealing with physical plant. Okay, so now here, so MM consultants are responsible for defining MM organizational structure. But in this practice, we are doing it. But in real time, MM consultants are responsible. Okay. So now, first we are going to now tell me how many plants you want to consider. We are taking the example of Tata Motors, right? Now tell me how many plants you want to consider in our training.
Sir, 4 to 5.
Yes. What about Atif? How many plants you want to consider? How many plants? Because we are considering that we are implementing SAP for Tata Motors, right?
Yes, yes.
Now I want you to I want you to provide me how many plants you want to consider. because Tata Motor has 6 plants, right? At Jamshedpur, Patna, Lucknow, Pune, and all places. So, how many plants you people want me to consider in our training? So, here I would like to make them. So, what we will do is, I will take into consideration 3 plants. One is Jamshedpur, Dharwad, and Pune. Okay. Right now, we so what we are so here. Well, first of all, what we need to understand is the data type. As you can see here, the data type for the plant is 4 characters. Meaning, as we yesterday discussed, when we say character, it means we can use only numbers, we can use only alphabets, or we can use alphanumeric, both possible, and the maximum 4. So here, what I'm going to do is now, let's say here, I'm just putting as uh, PL. Okay, right. So this is our batch number 60, right? 60, sorry, 70 P1. This is one plant. I'm just giving you using the key. Okay, this is one plant. Just to represent the Pune plant. Let's say I'm representing with this 4 character key because the character limit is 4. Let's say Pune plant. Right. Another one is I'm using key as F67P2, which is Jamshed or Dharwad plant. Dharwad plant. Right. And then 70P3 is a Jamshed plant. So for our practice, we are considering 3 plants, but actually there are 6 plants, 6 manufacturing facilities of Tata Motors across India. Okay, now or we can list out all right, and we will be using one or two of them. So this is how we will be maintaining, we will be representing these physical locations or the physical manufacturing facilities with the 4 character key and the description. Okay, so now let's go to system and then so here, when it comes to the code, when in real time, we will be discussing with company people, all right, and then we will explain them that the maximum characters which we can use is 4 characters for the key, and the maximum character for description. Let me see how much. It is not mentioned. So the maximum character I think it is 20. So whatever they want to use, we will be using them, or otherwise we will suggest. It is not nothing like a standard, but now like I'm just using as per my convenience. I'm just putting our batch number, then P1. 70 P1 I'm representing as Pune plant, 70 P2 as a Dharwad plant, like this. I believe that answer your question, Sridhar. Right? So here now what we are doing is we are maintaining or defining these plants in SAP. Okay, so what is the menu path to define plant here? It is part of enterprise structure. Okay, it is part of enterprise structure definition, and it is under logistics general. Let's go to system, and then we will define them here, or for timing I'm using this system. Let me define them. Right, so we can navigate like tools, customizing, then ing, then spro, or we can directly type. Let's go to spro here. So after SPRO, we have this menu path, enterprise structure, reference, go to reference IMG, then in enterprise structure, we are defining it, right? So go to definition, then we are logistics general, go to logistics general, right? In this logistics general, you can see